Hello and welcome to my channel, Attila Tarot. In this video, we're going to look at the relationship between Hungary and the European Union. So this is going to be quite a comprehensive reading. We're going to look at the energies coming from Hungary's side. We're going to look at the energies coming from the EU's end. We're going to look at the current situation. We're going to look at the hindering factors, the opportunities, and the final outcome. So let's jump into it, and we're gonna start with Hungary's side. The first card we have for Hungary is the Five of Cups. Five of Cups is a card that brings some kind of a regret, loss, missed opportunities. When you're kind of looking at whatever was lost, whatever is negative, and you're not necessarily focusing on the opportunities that are related to this relationship. It might be that Hungary might feel isolated, left out, or disappointed how certain aspects of this EU relationship have unfolded. Very important for Hungary with this card to look at that not everything has been lost, and maybe see things more through the lens of opportunities and how they can really change this relationship through that. The next card that's representing Hungary, which is very interesting, the Ten of Cups, which is a card of harmony, unity, perfect happiness, and cultural cohesion. I think despite of all of these difficulties that is represented by that Five of Cups, there's a desire for harmony and unity, and see things through a similar lens, and to kind of belong to the EU as a cultural, from the cultural perspective. And actually there's also a need to kind of reconciliation as well, because the Ten of Cups is all about going through difficulties, difficult challenges, and arriving at perfect happiness after the difficulties. Now we also have here the Nine of Wands, which is a card of the wounded soldier. Somebody who's been through a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulties, and somebody who's kind of ready to give up on something that they've been fighting for. So from that perspective, Hungary seems to be very defensive, and it might it kind of suggests that it is trying to protect its values or sovereignty as well, because this is a wounded warrior who's been through similar situation. And when you look at the history of Hungary has been through a lot of freedom fights when the country was influenced and suppressed by big powers, right? The Ottomans, the Russians, the Habsburg. All of those are kind of things that are bringing back, I think, similar trauma for the Hungarians. And then now you have the EU that is to a certain degree limiting what Hungary can or cannot do to a certain degree. So I think there's definitely that feel to this Nine of Wands. But also the Nine of Wands is important message of it, that Hungary shouldn't kind of give up on their dreams and their and whatever they're trying to achieve, because they're actually very close to achieving it. Now at the bottom of the deck, we have here, just a sec, the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is actually somebody who is very caring, somebody who has a lot of feelings and emotions and very intuitive. So I think underneath all whatever is happening, I think Hungary still cares about this relationship. I think Hungary is invested in the relationship with the EU, probably more than what it shows through the various messages. But also there's a tone of maternal and nationalistic to this, to a certain degree, that Hungary is trying to protect its own people, whatever the people want, whether they are kind of aligned with those values, whatever is coming from the EU's end. Now let's see what are the cards from the European Union's perspective. The first card we have here is the Three of Cups, which is actually very positive because this is all about joy, celebration, community, and alliance as well. So I think as a core to its identity, the EU definitely values the unity and the collaboration with Hungary. The next card that's representing the European Union is the Moon, which is the card of confusion, the card of fear, anxiety, and a lack of clarity as well. So I don't think that the EU knows where to put Hungary. It might be that they don't fully trust in terms of the intentions of Hungary. It might be that, there might be this can talk about secrets as well. So there might be some fears from secrets or not clear intentions. Now this can also come from both ends, like that maybe the EU has hidden intention or they are afraid of Hungary's hidden intentions as well. What's really important here that, there might be some secrets in the picture whenever the Moon is showing up. Now the next card is the Tower, which indicates that something is crumbling, something is collapsing. Now this can be the relationship that is kind of going through a major transformation, something that kind of forces them to build a new foundation. Because the Tower is generally indicates something that you've been kind of thinking that it is stable, but it's not, and the reality comes in, and the structure is crumbling. Now this can be the relationship, but it can be also that certain aspects of the EU is shaking, and that's why they just need to kind of find some kind of a new foundation that they can build this relationship, especially the relationship with Hungary, to kind of build upon, because something generally must break to kind of rebuild. There's definitely something that needs to be built up from the ground up. Now at the bottom of the deck you do have here the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles indicates feeling left outside of the cold, which kind of says that maybe the EU feels that they're shut out. Maybe they're feeling that they're kind of alone in this relationship when it comes to Hungary. There might be economical struggles as well, or financial struggles that might be connected to it. Maybe they kind of fear that Hungary might not contribute enough to whatever the EU needs. But also it has this lack of lack mindset, of scarcity mindset, fear of loss as well. Maybe through financial or ideological perspective. Again, it's kind of like lack of self-confidence as well when it comes to. But let's look at the current situation between Hungary and the EU. The first card is the Ace of Swords, which is actually very good because all the aces indicate some kind of a new chapter, a new beginning. And this is a card of truth, clarity, and clear communication. So I think honest conversations are very important for the two parties to have in terms of what is working and what is not working. But this can be also a new agreement of some sort where you're kind of renegotiating this relationship. Because, all in all, the Ace of Swords can indicate a legal document, but also it can be that clarity, victory, and to kind of overcoming challenges as well. The next card of the reading is the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is very interesting. It's kind of like all about detachment, emotional detachment, walking away or disengagement. So I think it's very important that both parties or one side might be thinking about withdrawing from this relationship. So I think there's definitely a danger from it. But I think it's either physical or metaphorical. But I think it can get to the point where maybe both parties are wondering, okay, is it worth to continue or not? Now let's see the next card in the reading, which is the Ace of Cups. So very interesting, because we have two aces here. So let's talk about the Ace of Cups first, because the Ace of Cups is actually the card of emotional renewal. Like all the aces bring some kind of a new chapter to it, and a card of peace and new and mutual understanding. So I think what I kind of seeing here, that in the current situation, I think there's definitely this question whether both parties need to walk away from this relationship or not. But I think those aces actually represent some kind of a new chapter, a new beginning, where there's an opportunity to confront each other and have a clear conversation. But also there's hope for reconciliation and come to peace with each other, right? And I think that's might be the one that can help to kind of fix or reconcile this relationship. Now let's look at the hindering factors. The first hindering factor is represented by the Page of Wands, which is like, usually the pages can be connected to immaturity. So there might be some impulsivity, immaturity, or ideological rigidity when it comes to the political actors or voices or just, not being serious as well. I think they need to be a little bit more mature when they are looking at this relationship. The other hindering factor is the Temperance, which is like normally the Temperance is all about balance, harmony, and take one step at a time. But here it is in the hindering factor. So there's definitely a lack of balance, patience, or compromise. Possibly each side wants the other to yield more than it's willing to give, right? But again, like this card is kind of calling them to be more sensible and to kind of take the middle road. And each parties need to equally give and take. Now you also have the Empress, which is actually a very positive card, but here you kind of look at it from a hindering factor. There might be different ideas about how the EU and Hungary wants to grow and nurture and value each other, right? There might be different ways they see the families, resources as well, right? I think there's definitely a difference here in terms of how family values, how resources are looked at. But let's look at now what are the opportunities between the EU and Hungary. You have here the Hierophant. The Hierophant is all about having faith in each other. And also this kind of connects traditions. So I think there's definitely a chance for the EU and Hungary to return to a shared structure, traditions, the core of the EU, the core of the European traditions. And also to kind of look at maybe what has been the EU's foundational principles in terms of whether they kind of approach from a new agreement. But this is also a card of commitment, right? When two parties commit to each other as well. So I think there's definitely an opportunity for both parties to commit to each other. Now you also have here the Nine of Swords, which is a card of anxiety, guilt around the relationship is very real. And I think there's a chance here that they just need to acknowledge it, that okay, this is very burdensome for us, the way this relationship is going, and we need to kind of heal from it. You also have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands, which is a card of 11:11, new chapters, new beginnings, when you're kind of celebrating to achieving something new and the doors are opening in front of you. So I think there's definitely a chance for something new, and approach the relationship and celebrate compromises and coming to common ground. Maybe shared moments or joint programs to rebuild trust. But also very interesting here that you have 2 marriage cards, right? So there's definitely, you can see the commitment kind of showing up in the opportunities part, that there's a lot of way for both the EU and Hungary can commit to each other. And again, when you kind of look at, there's a potential to rebuild this relationship on shared tradition, but they need to kind of address whatever fears they have openly and honestly, and I think both parties will be able to recommit to rebuild the trust. But let's see what's going to be the final outcome between Hungary and the EU. But before that, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That's an indication that the reading helped you or you enjoyed it, and you also help me to grow the channel to make sure other people can see these videos and similar videos. I also want to encourage you to check out my other videos. I have quite a few from a political perspective, but also you can look at your sign, and my videos maybe help to guide you in terms of your career and your love and relationship life as well. But let's get back to this reading. The first card we have here for the future is the King of Pentacles, which is actually a very positive card, because this is all about stability, economy, and prosperity, long-term prosperity as well. Because the King of Pentacles has the resources, and this is a very strong and conservative leadership as well. So I think this kind of signifies that I think the future is rooted in stability and economic sensibility, and it kind of suggests that Hungary will stay in the EU because it's going to focus on the material benefits and everything that kind of makes sense to gain out of this relationship. But also, I think I'm kind of sensing more of a mutual prosperity that comes from the King of Pentacles. Now you also have here the Two of Wands, which kind of shows here a couple of things. There's some kind of a decision that the EU and Hungary needs to make, because the Two of Wands is the card of decisions and strategies. So they need to definitely decide how they're going to continue this relationship, whether they're going to continue with each other, whether they change paths, the way they work. There's many ways this can work out. What's really important here, that there's going to be a crossroad in terms of deciding how this relationship's going to go forward. But again, this is also about looking at the long-term future. Because this is all about looking outside, looking into the future, and the issue with the Two of Wands, that sometimes something is holding us back. So I think they need to definitely reassess what is that holding them back in terms of to achieve that potential that can help them on the international level. Now the next card is the Page of Swords. So Page of Swords is a card of curiosity, questioning, being watchful. So I think very important for both parties to be curious about what the other party is all about. But also there's curiosity to watch each other's move. There can be Page of Swords can be all about gossips and spying as well. So that's definitely something that is themed. But in terms of the outcome, there's got to be something that's going to bring them to some kind of a decision. It might be some kind of a spying activity that might bring them together, that's going to be kind of putting them to crossroads. But all in all, the King of Pentacles is a very, very positive sign for for the future. Now, at the bottom of the deck, we do have here the Six of Swords, which ultimately shows that they're going to be able to leave the difficulties behind and arrive to calmer waters. So obviously there might be some tense journey through that, but I think there's going to be a chance for a reconciliation. And when you kind of look at the likely outcome, I don't think that Hungary and the EU will separate. I think they're going to stay together. But I think this relationship will change. It's going to be evolve as well. Hungary might shift towards a more strategic and self-interested stance, while the EU keeps watch. But stability can return, but only if both sides are kind of willing to redefine the relationship with greater clarity as well. But I think all in all, there's a chance for here to some prosperity in the future. So that's all I have for you. I hope that this reading helped you, and I'll be able to welcome you again.